All right. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your day today to join us for our webinar focused on optimizing forecasting for the REIT industry with Oracle EPM Planning. I am Dave Riley Madan. I'm one of the AVPs here at Mastech and joined with my colleague Arun. We have really, I think, a wonderful webinar for you today. We'll make the intro is very short. We'll cover a little bit about us, about Mastech, but we're going to dive really straight into the heart of the matter because I know many of you are very interested in reviewing this application. We have pre-built an accelerator with an Oracle EPM Planning designed specifically to help REITs of all kinds improve their forecasting process, their accuracy, streamline the entire end-to-end process when they're developing their forecast. And so we'll be diving really right into that fairly quickly, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. So a little bit of housekeeping. You may have some questions that come up during the meeting. Please feel free to submit them into the chat box, and Audrey will monitor those, and we'll cover those questions towards the end of the webinar. And this recording will be available for additional review, or you might be able to, you might want to share it with some of your colleagues that maybe have not attended the webinar. And this webinar hopefully will cover a lot of key processes that you might have within your specific forecasting process, and whether you're a commercial REIT, residential REIT, a healthcare REIT, or an industrial REIT. So we'll cover all of those as well. So let's go ahead and get started with some quick introductions. As mentioned, I am Dave Madan. Dave Riley Madan is my full name. I'm one of the AVPs here within our Oracle practice. I'm really been in this. I've been in this space for more than a dozen years, helping organizations maximize their Oracle investments. My focus primarily has been around EPM as a solution advisor. Worked with many institutions within hospitality, within REIT, within commercial and residential, helped to stand up these EPM applications. And my mission is really quite simple. I'm very client-centric and outcome-driven. So we want to get results, and we want you to be successful. And if those two items are not met, then we didn't do our job. So those are our primary focuses. Arun, would you like to quickly introduce yourself to the audience here?
Yeah, sure, Dave. Good morning, everyone. My name is Arun Sunkara. I'm an associate director with Mastech. I've been with the organization for over a decade now. I basically lead the practice of EPM globally, and I genuinely enjoy working with this application. I find it to be quite strong, robust, easy to use. And yeah, over the past decade or so, I've worked with several organizations, helping them with their planning and budgeting consolidation journeys. And quite excited for the webinar today. I'm genuinely looking forward to demonstrating what we have in store for you.
Great, thank you, Arun. So we'll cover very quickly a little bit about Mastech. Mastech is an Oracle Globus, a GSI. We have over 1,360 Oracle Cloud customers, which is a very significant amount. Really brings credence to the fact that a lot of our clients are referring us back to other clients because we've done wonderful work within the space. That's really, I think, the best testament that we could ever get as an organization is to get clients referring us to other clients. We have roughly 6,000 employees. Half of them are dedicated to our Oracle practice. We are global in nature. We operate in 40 countries. Our North American headquarters is in Dallas, and our focus has shifted over the years. Originally, we were very much a niche player within a couple of the pillars in the Oracle space, but we have matured quite handsomely over these years. And now we are one of the primary partners that can implement all the pillars within Oracle. So today we are going to be focused on EPM, and within the EPM family, we are going to be focused on the planning and budgeting component, but there are many other tools that we've helped stand up for many institutions. We provide a lot of different types of services, complete end-to-end from advisory to implementation to managed services. We'll come in and maybe do a health check if your current platform is not operating the way that you want it to, or maybe you're struggling with some of its components. So we'd be happy to review that with you. And as an institution, we've won several Partner of the Year awards, which is really an astounding feat considering there's 25,000 registered Oracle partners in the globe, and to come out on top is really, a wonderful statistic, a wonderful achievement. You can see up in the upper right-hand corner that we have quite a number of significant Oracle implementations across the different pillars, with nearly 180 EPM clients that we've helped stand up across the globe. And of those, across all the pillars, we have quite a large real estate and construction portfolio where we've helped to stand up financials, supply chain kind of needs, EPM and HCM for the real estate and construction organizations, with nearly 200 served in that category. And not only do our clients say a lot of great things about us, but third-party analysts rank us really high as well. So when we start to look at analysts like the Everest Group, they rank us in the top 5 of all Oracle partners for Oracle Cloud services. And that's really an important distinction because this ranking comes from meeting with our clients, interviews, referrals, customer satisfaction surveys, NSAT surveys. So it's really a comprehensive review that they do. And Everest felt that we were one of those top partners. So you can see some of the other great names that we're in the same category with. And everyone relies on Gartner. So at Gartner, Mastech is ranked in the top 19 partners in the Magic Quadrant. And that alone is also an amazing accomplishment by Mastech. And we happen to be in the leader in the niche quadrant. And the reason that we've been placed there is because we're Oracle only for ERP, supply chain, and EPM. And we don't really look at other tools that are in the marketplace. So it's a really important distinction to point that out. We have lots of REIT customers. We feel that we know this industry really well. We have a lot of different types of REITs in our portfolio, from hospitality to commercial REITs, industrial REITs, residential REITs, healthcare REITs, and even data centers. So we are pretty diverse with our REIT portfolio, and we can help your institution with many of the needs that it might have regarding forecasting. So from today's webinar, what we hope that you're going to be able to gain are some insights on strategies and solutions to help improve your REIT forecasting process. Today everyone's talking about AI. How is AI going to affect forecasting and its ability to provide realistic forecasting predictions, as well as maybe improve the overall accuracy of your forecast? The solution is going to address a lot of, I know I've worked with many REITs in my past, and a lot of times when there's complex calculations, they're sometimes done offline in Excel, then they're put back into the system. But we'll show you how you can centralize all those complex calculations within the platform itself to really make it more robust and address things like interest rate volatility, complex tenant and lease structures, macro political factors that we're facing today. If you want to model your FFO or AFFO within the tool, that's certainly all of those things are kind of possible. So we'll give you insights on how to do all of those. And then hopefully you'll come across with understanding what the value proposition is here, because most institutions are trying to become data-driven, data-centric, so that they can develop insights and analyses to help them predict the future, as well as automating some of the data flows. And many of you have many disparate systems, right? Some of you will have legacy Oracle platforms. Others might have SAP on the back end, or you might have a different forecasting tool that you want to bring in and leverage as well. So we'll show you how you can bring in data from all of the disparate systems and create this one version of the truth for your FP&A needs. And then hopefully you'll get a lot out of the call today, but you'll still have some questions, and we'll want you to participate in the interactive Q&A. So please submit your questions over chat. We'll make sure we address them as we get near the end of the webinar, and we'll address as many of those questions as we can before we wrap up. So as an overview, before we step into the demonstration, which Arun will take over in just a second, we want to just remind you, regardless of the type of REIT you are, this solution can be catered and configured to meet your very stringent requirements. And when we start to look at the REIT industry, you'll find that Mastech has built this accelerator for forecasting for REITs, as well as some pre-built dashboards that you could take advantage of right away through the solution without having to custom build them yourselves, because they're already part of our accelerator. And then you'll be able to leverage the best-in-class solution, as mentioned earlier, systematically store those complex calculations, drivers, allocations, and other formula within the system, and explore the flexibility of the platform to adjust to all of these changing business conditions and geopolitical conditions that we're facing in our world today. And then, many of you have a forecasting period. Some of you will be forecasting monthly, some do it weekly, others do it quarterly, some do it more infrequently than that. But having a more frequent forecast gives you better insight into your future. So we'll show you how you can increase the frequency of your forecast and gain those valuable insights. So with no further ado, I will stop sharing my screen and hand this over to Arun, who will take you right into the demonstration.
Thank you, Dave. I'll start sharing my screen. Yeah, I've just started sharing it. Dave, can you confirm if you can see the browser?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. I'll go on full screen. Yeah, I think that was a good introduction, Dave. And now what I'm going to present currently is actually the solution that we've built on the application. So what you have on your screens right now is the Oracle Planning application. If you're familiar with words like Hyperion, PBCS, ePBCS, it's the same application. Basically, it's been there for decades and decades, serving organizations with their budgeting and forecasting solutions, and it's kept on getting more and more powerful. So what we have on the screen right now is, on the left-hand side, we've got some handy buttons. You can obviously set out some announcements so that everyone in the organization knows about some of the key timelines or, any other information that you want to share. Activity would always have announcements, but the best part that I like is this recent section. It often happens that, we start working on something, but then we are dragged into something else and we have to leave that midway. If that happens with you quite often, happens with me. If it happens with you as well, you will also love this recent section. So anything that you accessed recently in the application, you'll find all of it over here. And if there's something that you frequently analyze or check quite regularly in the application, you just have to mark it as favorites. And then, in the favorite section, you'll start to see them. Basically, all these features kind of make it worthwhile to use the application. But the key action is actually happening on this side of the screen. What you see over here are various processes or models that are built into the application. Obviously, I'm going to focus on property planning for today, but just wanted to mention that you also have a lot of other capabilities that can help you. But yeah, for property planning, when I press on this button, it brings across, a list of processes that are created within the property planning solution. To begin with, the first one is lease properties. Now, obviously, in the REIT industry, what happens is that, we deal with properties in different ways. Uh, I understand all of us, who are looking at this webinar today, come from different industries and sectors. But what we are demonstrating right now is something that is quite neutral in nature. But that also means that we'll be able to add all the various nuances from your sectors and industries into the solution. But to begin with, for leased assets, what the application can do is, first of all, it can bring across all your owned assets, like existing leased assets, and any new assets that either you've constructed yourselves or you've acquired, or maybe something that are coming through as a part of mergers and acquisitions. All of those can also come under these new leased assets section as well. Over here, I've kept the names quite generic: property 1, 2, and 3. But when it will be put in place for yourselves, it'll obviously have your property names, I'm sorry, or any other detail that you would like to bring up. What we have against every property over here is you'll be able to see its current lease market rate, like what you've leased it at. What was the lease start date? Like, when did the lease start? Then you have the terms of the lease, like how many years it's leased for, how many years are remaining, what's the bump percentage. Bump percentage is nothing but inflation, like year on year, the amount that you've set up that the lease would increase. It could be yearly, sometimes it's it's once in 5 years. All of that can also be built in or can be brought in from your source systems. And you'll also be able to see the location of the specific property. For now, we've just gone cities. You can also go down further down, like you can go to specific road, specific street, or a specific block of road as well. The best part is, for every property, you'll be able to see the total carpet area or square footage that you're leasing out, how much of that square footage is occupied, and how much of that is vacant. Now, vacant space could be owing to many things, right? You're either renovating some part of the property, or it's, let's say, getting upgraded, or let's say it's out of play for some or the other reason. But it's always good to know that, from all of the assets that we have, how much of that is generating money and how much of it is actually out of play. Now, on top of all of this, the application will be able to calculate the lifetime lease earnings for you. It will factor in all of the conditions that we've seen before, which is the lease start date, term remaining, what is the bump percentage or inflation percentage, how much of square footage is actually occupied, how much is vacant. That will also give you a straight line rent, and it'll also show you the revenue impact because of the vacant space, because it's kind of not generating money. It's not like it's in a way losing you money, right? So it's important to see how much of impact you're having because of vacant spaces. It'll also show you the straight line rent per square foot, so that you're able to assess how each of the property is faring. The capability doesn't end here. What I've been showing you is some of this information would come from various source systems, or you can upload all of this through Excel spreadsheet, which brings me to the fact that this application, Oracle EPM, is extremely flexible in terms of getting data. No matter what source system you have, it can fetch data from it and upload it into the application. If you have an application that exports flat files or CSV files, even better, you'll be able to simply push them into the application. And yeah, obviously, if you are using Oracle source systems, it comes with out of the box adapters, which kind of make it quite easy. If you have Oracle, you don't need any file movement or data movement. The applications talk to one another and then get the required data over the line. But what it is also doing is, on top of all of this, you have the ability of adding a new leased asset. Obviously, sometimes that there's a property that's going to come into the market now because it's ready, or let's say it was out of action for renovation or upgradation, but it's now going to come back. So you'll always be able to add new leased assets and also calculate its lease, which means that you can put in various ifs and buts or scenario modeling to kind of arrive at an accurate value for the leasing. And on top of it, you can convert a new to existing as well, because we've got new assets over here which can come in, as I said, owing to mergers or acquisitions, or they were just freshly constructed. But once they are into the play, you can move them to the leased property section as well. On the top over here, you see various categories like asset class, buildings, the financial year you're performing this for, as well as the entities, which means that this solution can be broken down by various aspects of your business. If you want the location to go up and say that we in a specific location, we've got so many properties or so many units, the application can do that as well. But the most interesting fact is we usually talk about, the properties we have, or which ones are being leased out or which ones are going to come into play. But obviously we've worked with organizations where they have development properties, which means that you're developing those properties, they're currently under construction, and you would want to factor in its cost for your budgeting and forecasting purposes. So that's what the screen does. It brings across all of your under construction properties, the ones that have in construction, or the ones that are going to be getting into construction, like they're going to start construction for these in the upcoming year. You can have those properties over here. Obviously, I've used generic names. You can bring up any names of your choice or the actual names you've given to the properties. You'll be able to on the outset see the construction start date, what duration it's going to take, how many years are remaining. Then you'll be able to add a whole lot of factors, which means you'll be able to add the cost of the land, like how much it took you to acquire the land, what was the construction cost around it, what are the other costs, capitalized interest, and things like that. Now, the other cost is quite a broad term, right? There could be several costs that are categorized as other cost. But what we've done is for construction, we've created a small breakdown, which means that your construction cost, you can drill further down and provide more details so that it makes it better for your forecasting and budgeting. You'll be able to provide the purchase date for the land, the cost of purchase, material cost for construction, labor cost for construction, overheads. If you've subcontracted this, you can also include those details. And recently, you've had the steel import tariffs, so you'll also be able to factor that in. You'll through your providers, you'll be able to know how much of imported steel is being used in metric tons for constructing some of these assets, and what's going to be the import tariff on them. So that gives you a very accurate and detailed construction cost. On top of all of this, you'll also be able to factor in several other aspects, such as the design cost for the property, legal, project management. Sometimes you have to take approvals from, the county councils. There are several other aspects like planning permissions and whatnot. All of that can also be factored in, and you'll also be able to show the funding side of it. Like, how are you funding this? Is it through debt? Is it through contract agreements, or is it through partnerships, or let's say self-funded? You'll be able to factor all of those in. If it's debt, you'll also be able to include the interest percentage for that debt, the loan start dates, the durations of them, and the application will calculate the interest of it as well. What it does with all of that is it'll basically pull all of this into the previous screen I was showing and add up to your total construction cost. So similarly, you'll also be able to do the same for other costs. You can create a breakdown, you can provide more details, you can add comments, and you can add commentary to justify what's going on against each property. Similar to the lease property, for constructions as well, if you want to add more details, you have that ability, which means that on this screen, on the right clicks, you'll be able to add new assets, convert new assets to existing assets, and also calculate the total assets construction value. This process kind of makes it very easier for you to bring all of the aspects of your budgeting and forecasting together. But we fully understand that not always you're kind of building these assets for yourselves. It could be a business strategy that you probably want to either sell it off after construction for some reason, or maybe lease it out to one of your existing customers and then start to manage it. So for those reasons, what we have done is in the same construction form, after the total cost, you'll be able to identify your exit strategy. Exit strategy right now has got simple things like sale or lease, but you can add more details to it. So if you've decided that, or if it has always been the decision that it will be sold after construction, you'll be able to, mention the margin, like for what value or what top up on top of all of your construction costs have you planned to sell it. Or if you already have an agreed sales value, you can put that over here to identify whether you're on track with, making money out of it, or is it going to cause you headaches in terms of losses and stuff. You'll always be able to factor that in. But if you've decided that it's going to be leased out, there's already plans, it's already sold, whilst it's being constructed, we have had agreements, and it's being it's going to be leased out. In such cases, you'll be able to put in the lease commencement date, what rate has been agreed, the bump percentage, the terms, similar to what we were doing for leased properties in the previous form. But since these are under construction, you're factoring in their future revenues. I'm sorry. And what you can do is you'll also be able to see the future revenue for the upcoming financial years as well. There's no limit to what number of years you can go to. So if you want to perform a 5-year analysis or a 10-year analysis of how much money is all of this going to make for you, you can obviously do that. Uh, one question that I've always gotten from our customers when they look at all of these spreadsheets, or sorry, when they look at all of these forms is, hey, my team is quite familiar with Excel. They just enjoy it. Is there any way that they can interact with this in Excel, or maybe just upload it through Excel? The best part about this product is that it's actually been configured by keeping in mind all the nuances of a budgeting and forecasting process. So this little action button over here, what it does is it's obviously got a lot of features. I would love to explain all of them, but we don't have enough time. But the best one is this one, which is Open in SmartView. So what Open in SmartView does is basically SmartView is an Excel plugin. It's not an Excel plugin, it's actually an MS Office plugin, which gets plugged into your Excel, your PowerPoint, your Word document, even Outlook. What that means is that, if you want to work or interact with the application, you'll be able to do that purely using SmartView. Now, let me show you, what I downloaded. So when I pressed on that button, which was Actions and Open in SmartView, I'll do that again just to show you. It actually downloaded a small file for me. When I go to that file, which is this one, what it'll do is it'll basically open up an Excel spreadsheet, which has got the same form. So I'll take you to Excel, and there it is. So what it has done is the same the same form or the grid that we were looking at online on the web application, it's basically opened it over here. And now over here, you can make all sorts of changes that you want to make. You want to update the remaining years, or maybe you want to add comments. You can also do that. So all functions and activities that you're able to perform on the web application, you can do them through SmartView. And the reason it actually gets plugged into your Excel, PowerPoint, Word, as well as Outlook is that in Excel, you're able to enter data, you're able to, create reports of your own, you're able to play with data to create grids, scenarios, and whatnot. In PowerPoint, you're able to use this data in your presentations, which means that if you're creating a monthly update or a quarterly update for your management to keep them updated on how you're progressing with the budgets and forecasts, you can use SmartView to fetch all the values in your PowerPoint reports. And the next time you need to update those values, you don't have to pull them again. You simply open up the same presentation, make changes wherever you want to make, go to SmartView, hit on that refresh button, and the application would automatically fetch the latest values for you in your presentation, as well as the Word document. So that way you're not creating the documents again and again, but rather you're basically, simply taking the benefit of having a well-connected application. So that's what SmartView does for you. But let me take you back to the last part of the demonstration, which was
Can I
managed
just bring up
properties.
one point about SmartView real quickly, Arun? I think it's important to know that when you are in the Excel and SmartView plugin, that you're still connected to the curated centralized repository. So you're working with data that's already been sanctioned and curated. You're not working with a standalone worksheet or workbook.
Yeah, no, great point, Dave. That's correct. So whatever changes you're making over here, they're happening live. They're going straight to the application, and you'll also be able to see them on the web application straight away. You're not doing any integration, any push or anything, just a click of a button because you're basically accessing the web application on Excel. But yeah, the last part of the demo is more around managed properties. So obviously in REIT, along with leasing properties or owning properties or having some of them being constructed for yourself, there's going to be a case where you might be managing some of the properties. Now, management comes with a lot of overheads as well as a big task of making money out of that management process. So if you're into that as well, what you can do is you can bring across all those properties, having a similar breakdown or a further detailed breakdown. You'll be able to see what is the straight line rent for it, how much of that is going to be charged as management percentage, if that's how if that's how you've built your agreements of management. But you'll always be able to put in a percentage saying that that's the amount of percentage that we'll be charging as management fees. The application will identify all the other aspects for you, such as if it's a flat management fees or what's going to be the expected maintenance. You'll also be able to put up a maintenance markup saying that how annually maintenance charges are increasing and how much of revenue you're generating out of it. Other fees can be broken down just like how we broke down the development properties, which means that you can further break it down into labor cost extensions. On top of all of that, you'll also be able to factor in various labor salaries, or any other aspects. Sometimes management of property involves a whole lot of activity, such as not just maintaining it, but you may have cafeterias that you have to keep inventory on, or provide help with kitchens. All of that can be factored in. to totally arrive at, what's going to be the total management fee or the management revenue that you'll be earning out after managing properties. Similar to, the previous steps, you'll always be able to add, make modifications and create scenario modelings across, all of your managed properties. Which brings me, to the last part, which is analysis. Now, analysis is something that, what it's doing is it's basically got a set of reports that, we've put together. But all of this is flexible, which means that it can be updated, changed, as well as, uh, modified or personalized to your needs. So one of the first dashboards that we've got in place is leased earning analysis. What it's doing is it's allowing you to toggle between your various asset classes, financial years, and entities. And it shows you, which properties has got, the best bump percentages. What's the lifetime annual rent report? Like like what's your total lifetime lease earning? What's your straight line rent method? Lease terms. It'll also show you which of the properties have got, the highest or the lowest lease terms and how they're faring across the years. And also, the overall lease market, like, which leased assets have got the highest value, which are your highest earning leases and things like that. You'll also be able to create a top 5, top 10 report to show which are the top 5 revenue generating ones or, the least ones, so that it gives the management a sense of, how you're doing across your portfolio of assets. There's also a construction cost analysis report, which shows you, how the construction cost is moving across all sorts of properties. So it'll show you, which of the properties has got the highest construction cost, which has got the least import tariff, or which has got the least amount of overheads and things like that. And obviously that could be owing to several factors, like the property that's being built is not as big as others and things like that. So you can also include square footage into the construction costs. Over here, you just get to see all the values in a numeric way, so that, when some of this doesn't make sense to you or it confuses you, you're able to quickly check what's the actual dollar value against each of these assets. And the last dashboard is the development overview, which kind of shows you an overall payback period, like, how your development projects are faring and when they'll start to make money back for you. Like, existing owned properties, how many years, the property is going to take. Like, some properties are going to take 13 years to make the whole money back. Some of them are going to take 5, or some of them are going to make it quickly, like 2 years. So it's going to show you all of that. It'll also show you a breakdown of total costs as well as the sales value. Like, if you've decided to sell them, what's going to be the right sales value for, those properties. So these are some of the dashboards that we've put together in the application along with the solution. But I just wanted to mention that, we've just taken a look at the property planning because that's what we were focusing on in today's webinar. But if you are keen on, knowing any of the other models that we have over here, which is financials, capital, workforce, we're more than happy to, work with you and have a dedicated session just for yourselves to show you the other capabilities as well. But before I, move back to demonstrating something, I wanted to show you another capability called IPM. So this is intelligent performance management from the application. It's got the same, capability of a machine learning tool. What it's basically doing is every time that, we create a model, it's kind of analyzing all of its data. And the more information we feed it, which means that, the more amount of historical data we give it, or the more amount of analysis data that we give it, it'll create predictions for us. So what I've done is I've taken an example. I've added a lot of, information, and based on that, what I've come at is, I wanted to see, okay, what's the predicted, outcome for a specific asset within the portfolio. So what it'll do is it'll basically, create a good analysis and and create a report for you. It'll show you that, the forecast was this much, but as per the model, the base prediction is this much. It'll show you where, you're going wrong, and then what it'll also do is it'll also show you the numbers, which means that, it'll say that, based on my analysis, based on the historical trends, as well as, the various other factors that I've learned from your overall budgeting and forecasting process, I feel this could be, the actual forecast or actual budget. What it gives you then is the best part, which means that it gives you a good comparison of what you have forecasted and what it has assessed as a part of its analysis. And if you wish to take that one, that's a simple button called override, and it'll simply copy over whatever base prediction is there as a part of the forecast. Not just that, after it's copied it over, you still have the ability of making changes. You don't have to agree to it 100%. You can always show that, okay, it makes more sense than what we have entered. Let's take this and make modifications. And you'll also be able to, compare it with historical data, which means that it'll go year on year to show you, how all of the historical year have fared in comparison to that. So this was just a small analysis that I made out of it. There are several other models that you can create and take benefit of. It's a strong capability of the product, and genuinely a lot of our REIT customers use it. It's kind of made it quite easier for them. They don't have to worry about the various factors. They just feed the model with information, and then it brings across, all the right kind of data for you. Uh, so that's what I was planning to cover in terms of the demonstration of our REIT solution. But there was a few bits that I also wanted to cover on top of that. The first one is the product that we all saw. Just a little bit more about it. So the product we saw was Oracle Planning. As I said, in the past, it used to be called as Hyperion. Then it was called as Planning and Budgeting Cloud Services. But basically, Oracle Planning is a part of a product suite called Oracle Cloud EPM. EPM stands for Enterprise Performance Management. It's basically a financial performance and analysis platform which covers all your aspects of financial analysis. It's got various set of products such as the planning, budgeting, forecasting, which we just saw. Uh, Planning, budgeting, and forecasting can help you in creating not just budgeting and forecasting and planning, but any financial model that you have in place. You'll be able to build that into the application and then take the benefit of automated integrations, automated reporting, automated forecasting, and budgeting, where it'll generate the results for you. And your job is simple: just go in, check the results. If you're happy with it, you have a go ahead, check your reports and dashboards. If you're not happy with it, you get the ability of making changes to it. But then there are other products as well in the product suite, such as financial consolidation and close, to help you with all of your cross currency, cross location or geographies, entities, and consolidating them to the group level. Account reconciliation can help you with making your period closure simple. Basically, it'll automate all of your reconciliation, whether that's ledger to ledger, ledger to sub ledger, or even transactions. It can match transactions for you. For example, in REIT, we have a lot of organizations that usually have to keep a track of whether rents are coming in on time or not. If you have so many units that you're looking at, whether you're into a hotel industry, you just want to make sure whether you're getting consistent amount of revenue stream or not. Account reconciliation has got a capability called transaction matching, which can help you immensely with that activity. We then have profitability and cost management. As the word says, it'll help you in identifying what's the right lease value, what's going to be the exact cost to maintain a property, or to lease a property, and how much should your revenue be on top of it to be able to make money out of it rather than losing. It's a strong allocation model engine which can allocate all of your costs on multiple levels. We also have products that can help you with tax reporting, and narrative reporting. I feel is the best one. In REIT, we've always seen that you have to create a lot of reports which have got a mixture of your financial performance, your financial data, as well as a lot of narration and description around what you're planning to do for the coming year, whether that's internal report or to your investors or even to public for that matter. A lot goes into such reporting, right? Narrative reporting makes it easy. It brings together the capability of being able to add text data and fetching all of your financial information from all your source systems, whether your Oracle source system or not. It can bring in data and then kind of make your reporting simpler. And there are some great AI features that have been added to the tool. I'm genuinely impressed with how it works. Data management can help you with managing all of your chart of accounts or properties across your platforms, which means that your chart of accounts and your details of properties, you don't have to update in every application that you use. Obviously you have a stream of IT tools within the organization. Data management can administer from one location, saying that if chart of account changes, it'll push it to various source systems. If your property details have changed, it'll update every application where it is relevant. It kind of makes it quite easy to administer all of your changes to chart of accounts and property structure. And yeah, you're not forced to take all of them or implement all of it together, or for that matter, even planning, budgeting, and forecasting. You don't have to chew more than what you can fit in your mouth, which means if you decide that okay, what you've seen today works better for you, you can start just with that. You can say that okay, we'll start with this REIT forecasting solution. Once we have done that, we'll then start to look at the other pieces of models like workforce, capital, and such things, and we'll add them gradually. So you always get that capability. The product is quite flexible in nature. doesn't force you to do anything actually. It works as per what you want, and you can break it down to make it easier for you. And yeah, there's always this best practice out of the box solutions as well, which the product offers, which kind of makes it better. Uh, it's easier to adapt. It's easier to adopt to those solutions and get the benefit of the application rather than creating something more personalized, which you feel in the future can change or probably not serve you for long. So that's a quick overview of the application. But the main thing that I wanted to cover today was this one. I understand that REIT is different for everyone, correct? REIT for an organization which is more into leasing of commercial space is very different to hospitality, as well as healthcare. But what we wanted to explain today was that we've worked with all these organizations across the sector, and our solution has been modified or personalized to each of these industries. For example, some of our residential REIT customers who are more into managing flats, apartments, and units, for them, the level of detail goes down to that level. In hospitality, you can forecast by hotel rooms, like individual hotel rooms, banquet halls, conference rooms, or any other spaces that you have out of which you make money. So in hospitality, you can do that. We've organizations who have gone down to the level of being able to forecast for the gym services that they offer, internet service that they offer, and things like that. You can go down to that level of granularity. Industrial REIT, basically you'll be able to factor in what sizes of properties you have, how much of that is occupied, who's leasing it, and you can go down to storage unit level, logistics, inventory levels, and all those levels. Healthcare, you can break it down to beds, the rooms, examination halls, operation rooms. Healthcare also offers suites. You can also factor in all of those as well whilst you're forecasting for your REIT. Uh, Similarly, we've got other categories as well, but the intention of this slide was to tell you that this is a solution that serves all the sectors and industries. It's not focused at one. Obviously, it's not the same solution that works for all of these industries, but there are these nuances that we add to each of them, which makes it quite easier to resonate with the current processes. So it's not a one size that fits all, but it's definitely a caricature of what the basic would look like, and then we add all these factors which we have delivered to all of our customers as well, and they've successfully implemented these application. uh, the next one was a little bit more about the solution. How scalable is the solution? Which means that can I start small and then kind of make it big, or can I start with just one model and then can I add more? It's a highly scalable solution. It's not restrictive that you've started a certain way, which means you can't add more or modify what you've included. The way we have put it together is that it's quite flexible in nature, robust, so you can always add more to it, or even remove some of the features if you feel that's not adding value to you. uh, we also wanted to clarify that the model that I've demonstrated just now, based on all of your needs, it can only take 10 to 14 weeks to put it together. It's a pretty straightforward model. What we do is we start to work with you, understand your requirements, explain you how the model works, and then we start to put together all of the pieces of the application. Our implementation methodology is very, I would say, involving. If you enjoy working on applications, like if you want to be a part of the journey, and if you want to be independent in terms of maintaining the application yourselves, we take you along in this journey. We don't want customers to feel that it's a complicated application, because it genuinely is not. It's a simple one. So we kind of make it quite easier for you to follow it or maintain it later on as well, which makes the maintenance quite low. Which means that you don't have to know the tool, you don't have to be an expert of how to use Oracle planning. Even if you're from finance team, it's quite an easy solution to maintain. And honestly, a majority of our customers, they find it quite easy to maintain because it's not a complicated application. So you don't have to have any new skills, new certifications, or new learnings. Our training would be enough for you to manage and maintain the application for a long, long time. Yeah, this topic I've just covered, you don't need to have any technical knowledge, I would say, to be able to manage this application. Even if you're from finance functions or from back office functions, you don't need to have any sort of technical knowledge. These are simple application to maintain and manage. That brings me to the question and answer section. And yeah, Dave, let's join together for these questions.
Sure. One thing I did want to point out earlier, we were talking about some source systems that we generally work with, and I know that many of you might have systems like MRI or Yardi or other real estate specific ERPs that you're managing all of your lease properties in. We have worked with just about all of them, and we can certainly ingest that data, find a way to integrate that data coming in from those other disparate systems. So very well versed in those kind of systems. Audrey, do we have some questions from the audience?
Yeah, we have some great questions in the Q&A section. If anyone has any additional ones, please feel free to put those in there, but I will start with a few that we have. So the first question I have is, can this model be personalized further to add nuances specific to our organization? For example, like adding more detailing and calculations?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Dave. Yeah, I mean, it as I said, it's a very flexible solution. A majority of our customers they start off with this, but then they add a lot of their own nuances because every business is different. But it's pretty straightforward and simple to add those details. Some of what you saw over there was also something that our customers have added themselves. So yeah, pretty straightforward. It can be completely personalized, and more details and even complex calculations can be added to it quite simply.
Okay, great. Let's see. I know we were just talking about implementation, so this is timely. How long will it take to implement this if we wanted to add the additional capabilities of workforce, capital, etc.?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, the workforce, the capital, as well as the financials and the other pieces of models, basically, they don't take too long. If you're doing it all together, it can it can be done within, I would say, 25 to 28 weeks, or let's say a maximum of 30 to 32 weeks. When I say maximum, it's because of let's say some of the personalizations that we're making on top of the the models that we have over here. But yeah, if you're just taking the REIT solution with financial, it would be a different duration and things like that. But yeah, if you're going with the full-blown implementation, I think it could be somewhere between 28 weeks to 30 to 34 weeks.
Well, let me just
Okay.
clarify that we're looking at just the forecasting component here. We can get that done in a relatively short time period because we have pre-built this accelerator that I think will cover a vast majority of your needs. And then our focus will be purely on the gaps that you see between our accelerator and the business needs that you have as an institution. So we feel very strongly that you can get started with the forecasting solution in as little as 10 to 14 weeks.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, and this is an interesting question. Someone wanted to know how flexible is the system if they wanted to change the level of detailing after some years because business needs have changed.
Yeah, I think the level of detailing, I think we've had this in the past as well, where customers started off by let's say budgeting or forecasting on a unit level, but later on found it to be too daunting, or let's say their organization policies changed, that they wanted to either do it at summary level or maybe go down a further level down. It's quite easy because the way how the application is set up, it's flexible in the nature that in the future, if you want to do it at summary level, it's created in a way where you can simply start to work at the summary levels and start to forecast at that level. If you want to go down further down, you just have to add those levels, and then that becomes your bottom level to be able to forecast or budget. I would say that if in the future you decide to do it at a different level, it may just take a week or two from yourselves, if you're managing the application yourselves, to add that level of granularity to your hierarchy, and all of the calculations, all of the forms would automatically reflect that.
Great. Let me see if there's anything else. How are we for time, Dave?
We have a few minutes left, but
Okay.
it might be good to see if we have a few questions and try to wrap this up to give folks a few minutes back in their day.
Okay, perfect. This is an interesting question. Someone was wondering if they wanted like a further demo done for, the finance director or CFO within their organization, would it be possible to add some of their specific business nomenclature to the demo and then present it to the wider leadership team? I guess they're really looking to see how custom we can get with a demo.
Yeah, I think that's how we work actually. So yeah, we're absolutely open to that, because we also feel that the more personalized or the more closer it is to your process, the better it is for you to understand and take a decision on it. So yeah, we definitely would be more than happy to demonstrate the whole piece or specific pieces that work for your management, and also bring in your business processes. Some of the demos that we have done, we've followed your chart of accounts. For some customers, they wanted more personalization, like having their logos, and then having their own terms and terminologies within the demo. We definitely do that. I think we also feel value in doing that.
Yeah, I think
And how
one point I
much
just want
lead
to add.
time? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Let me just add one point to that, and that is what you saw today was not a custom. There was no customizations. It was highly configured, and that's how the application is set up. So if you need to um, demonstrate to your leaders that this will work for your business, it's just a matter of us reconfiguring the application to suit the way that your business process operates, and then I think they'll get a better appreciation of that. So I do want to mention that it's highly configurable to suit vastly all of your needs.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Sure. Looks like we got time for maybe one or two more questions. One question we have is, I noticed that the solution doesn't have currency. Our properties are spread across the globe. Can we add currency to this solution?
Excellent point. Yeah, for the demo, we left it in USD, but we have many global REITs, and we can report in just about any currency that you operate in. So the Oracle platform is pre-built with all the variability with currency. So that's definitely something that we can address. Anything to add to that, Arun?
Yeah, I wanted to say great observation, and I feel that it's a great question. But yeah, as Dave said, it was built. This one was USD, but yeah, we have a lot of customers where we have currencies which are brought into the play as well.
Okay, and I think we've got one more. Okay, so I was saving this one to the last because I think it gives Arun and Dave you an opportunity to speak a little bit more about our process. Can you explain a little bit how this will be put in place for an organization who doesn't have any EPM application currently?
Sure. What we do for those organizations that are looking to evaluate a tool like Oracle is we'll come in and get to understand you as an organization, and then see how the tool can be catered to fit your particular requirements. So there's a little bit of a process in understanding a little bit about how Oracle works in securing the tool, and then we'll walk you through our entire implementation methodology so that you can get a good understanding of how to get started, what kind of expectations that we're going to have on you as an institution during the implementation, and what you can expect from us as a SI to implement the tool. And we'll walk you through it so you have a very thorough understanding of that. But the first step is to get a hold of us. We'll send a recording to everybody. And if you do have interest, we'd be more than happy to come in and demo the tool, cater it to your needs from a demo perspective, and then walk you through that entire process of working with Oracle, working with us to get this sort of solution stood up. Okay, and then with that, we will be providing a follow-up to all of the registrants for the webinar with with our contact information as well as the recording so that you can either share it or replay it at your own leisure. But we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for spending these last 55 minutes with us. We know that that's a huge investment of your time to spend with us. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of the time that you spent with us today. And we look forward to hearing from you and working with you on these sort of solutions.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.